All right, so we're looking at Google here. This is not really about Google, but what a fantastic trade it was. One of my worst trades of last week where I took a loss on this, but I know that some of the members here actually took this trade, and it probably went somewhere from 480 to 500 bucks per contract up to $4 to $5,000. And congratulations if you were able to hold that. I know some people just kind of rode the wave and sold as it went a little bit further up. I'd be interested to see if anyone actually held all the way to the end here. If you did, congratulations. One thing that I want to explain today is kind of the methodology behind how I trade and what you can expect when I post on the alerts page. First things first, you're always going to see that I have boxes on the bottom and boxes on the top. And what I'm identifying here is institutional buying and institution selling. We want to buy at wholesale and we want to sell at retail. All right. So imagine this, if you would. Let's just use my Mercedes, right? So the Mercedes, let's say it goes for $100,000. And if I were to tell you down here in the blue box, we could buy that Mercedes for $50,000, 50% off. I think all you guys would be running to make sure that you could buy that Mercedes here at 50 grand. Why not, right? $50,000 off a sticker price. You got a great deal. Now, it seems easy and the logic seems simple, but what you have to put into consideration is that when price does decide to come back to our box, with everything out there, with the news, your friends, financial Twitter, your parents, your brother, your sister, your wife, your husband, somebody's telling you something negative, and in order to get to this box, we're going to see a lot of red candles. And the idea is that we are going to buy when everybody else is selling because we are institutional minded. Okay, that's how I trade. And although it seems simple when we back charts up and go, okay, hindsight, this is a buy zone when price came down. Let's say this is a buy zone, price came back down right here. We bought. It looks simple, but what I can tell you from many, many years of experience and watching people and listening to people, this is where most people sell. Okay, but this is where we buy. And you really have to be robotic in your decision to do this because it's going to be difficult to take that trade. Okay. Now, when we take our trade here, I have to look up at candle pattern and decide what our risk to reward scenario is. What I'm looking for is at least 1 to 3 or 3 to 1, however you like to say it. Okay, so we're going to buy at wholesale and we're going to sell at retail. Now that sounds simple too, right? Well, it's not because people get exuberant, they get excited, and that is where, so let me just kind of show you here. So this is, just say we bought here. Price came back here, we bought. It just keeps going up and up and up and up. I don't have any candles up here to compare to, okay? But if I did, and actually I could take you over to a week chart, and you can see I have some zones here. So I'm looking for price to get up here to 1176. Now for me, this is my first sell here. All right, this is where you're going to be profitable and you can let another option here ride into our next target here. If we're wrong, we made enough profits here to not care about if this is a loser. If you're not in that situation and you only have one contract and can only afford, it's good to have a target. That way, if price decides to come back down here, you're going to be the smart person, right? So getting back to what I was saying is when price is headed up here, this is where retail buys. Okay, I would not count this as a wholesale price. This would be retail price. These are them buying the Mercedes for $125,000. We're going to wait for price to come back down to wholesale prices, okay? So it's very simple. And what I want to just make sure that all of you understand is that I do not care about news. I don't care about anything out there. I don't care about fundamentals. And I would really encourage you to go back for many, many years. You don't need any of that. Technical trading is here. It's always been here and it's here to stay and it will never change. One of the hardest things to do is wake up every morning and think to yourself, Am I going to be successful again using this methodology? I mean, it just doesn't seem right. How can I be right so many times every day, right? Because I want to be able to be successful to the point where I'm at least somewhere to 80 to 95% success rate. Now that sounds crazy, right? It does, because 92% of traders are wrong. All right. And so when you go back and you think about all the books you've read, all the things you've heard from your friends, all the senseless tweets that are out there, it's pretty much brainwashed anybody to think like retail. And that's okay. That's not a slight on anyone, but that's just how we're programmed. So in order to use how I use trading, you're really going to have to change everything you ever thought about. And that doesn't mean you're gonna go out and be a contrarian and say just because the news said buy overstock this week that you're like, nope, I'm not doing it. The news said no. There has to be a lot of other factors in place, right? Our risk to reward. Is there a sell zone above? Are we in a buy zone? There's a lot of things that I have to think about. And then when I throw Fibonacci on here, it's just an enhancer to making a decision for me. Moving averages, don't care about them, but they're on my screen because they do kind of help me secure that position. So if all things align right, then I know that we're making a really good trade to be successful. All right, so you're going to see those enhancers on here. You're going to see volume profile in the background. I don't care about that either, because in order to make volume, I think we have to buy and sell first. Those things come first, not the volume. Okay, so in order for volume to be there, we're going to have to make our minds up whether we're going to buy or sell. Then you're going to see that I'm going to use all kinds of different things in order for Fibonacci to be right. And the way that I might think about Fibonacci might be a little bit different than what others say. Where I place my Fibonacci might be different than most. But what I can tell you is it's been very successful and it's lined up to institutional buying and institutional selling. So we're here to be mindful of where the banks buy and where the banks sell. Now, most of us, we buy stocks, right? We buy stocks, and that's how we go forward in the stock market. Now, what's really interesting is the banks, they actually make their money in selling stocks, right? So we're always thinking completely different of what these guys are thinking. And in order for us to make money, I mean, who typically makes more money? Retail or the banks? It's the banks. So in order to do that, we're going to have to think like the banks. All right, we want to be on the winning side here. So that's just kind of my intro into this. And going back, let's just pretend we've made this trade. I'm going to give you targets. The most important thing for me is that we have more than one position because we're going to have more than one target. We're going to let go at our first target, and we're always going to come down from our target. So let's just say this pink line is the target. And in most cases, what I'll do on the screen here is you're going to have a T1 and a T2 and a T3 sometimes. And we're just going to place that here. And I'm going to say something like, hey, this is T1. This is T2. All right, and then I'm going to have this little price line here. So let's just put it right here. And if you look to the right here, that's going to be your target. T2, this is going to be your target. Now, what I tell everybody is that you want to bring that down. Don't ever be the greedy person. Don't be the person that says, I'm going to sell right at 1177.49. Because if price comes right here and turns around on you, you're going to be really sad. You're going to be chasing it. You're going to start panicking, and you're going to lose money that you shouldn't have lost. So always come down. Whatever it is your risk tolerance is, I would suggest on bigger stocks like this, let's say it's 1177. Say you're already like, 500% in the money. Then do you really care if you get out at, let's say, 1175, 1174? Not me. That's just me, okay? If you're very profitable, you don't want to be greedy. You want to bring this target down. It's up to you how much. Now that goes for the same thing on the backside here. All right, and I'll show you that here in a second. But anyways, the concept here is to sell here, have enough profits that actually paid for, say you had two options, you made enough profits here plus some to let this guy ride. All right, And I'm going to break these down into smaller candles while we're trading during the day so that you understand, in this case, if Google decided to turn around on us, where is it going to turn around? Where should I be worried, John? Where should I probably not be in the trade anymore? And that's where I update you during the day. And I'm going to say, hey, look, Google has a buy zone down here. And that buy zone is currently sitting roughly between this region here. If price breaks down below 1147, I don't want to be in this trade anymore. Or, hey, I really like this trend, John. I think it's going to keep going up. Where do I need to reload on my options? This is the same thing. So if we reload in here, the question is, do you reload at the first line, the third line, the second line, in between these lines? That's up to you. But we can set this into 3 dimensions, right? Not 3 dimensions, just 3 parts. And we can enter our first trade here at the entry line, which would be your closest line to price. Okay, so this would be, say this is where you're going to enter 1. So let me just put E1 here, entry number 1. And if price decides to dip on you, okay, then you can entry 2 here in the middle. All right, and so forth. And then maybe your last trade is at the bottom here. Now that sounds counterintuitive to what I was just saying, right? We don't want to be in the trade if it's here. Well, there's a lot of factors behind this, and that's what I was trying to say earlier, is that don't try to learn what I'm doing overnight. It's not going to work for you. All right. In an uptrend, in a very strong market, if this is a buy zone, and let's just say this blue zone is up here, then this zone is going to work for us. All right. We don't know if it's just going to push here and push straight out, but what we do know is that institutions want to buy here. So we're going to average down in this case. Now for me, I don't typically average down, but I'm just showing you what you can do. You can decide to take E1, E2, or E3. It's up to you. Now, if you're the guy that's sitting down here at E3 and we get in at E1 and then we shoot up $10, if you move this up and then you get in after $10, you just fell into the retail trap. Okay? For me, the entry 1 here from 1154 to E3, I like this risk. Okay? However, I don't want to be E3 and chase the trade and get in $10 more up, right? So let's say right there. Because now you've just opened this risk from here all the way down to here. But I entered here, I'm already profitable. Don't be this person, okay? Now this person does work out sometimes, right? If you're patient and for some reason this cracks and you get in and I got in here, yeah, the difference is going to be you made money coming up to here. But using my methodology, most of the time in a buy zone, I'm correct. All right. And that's why we take our chances here. All right. Just something to think about. And on the put side, guys, same thing. I'm going to have T1, T2, T3. We're going to ride prices down into targets 1, 2, and 3. You're going to let go at T1, making profits and not really caring if T2 or T3 gets hit. Okay. Some people call this rolling up or so forth. So rolling up in options, you can say, hey, I bought the 1161s, it gets to 1170, you sell all the 1160s, then you buy the 1175s. It's almost the same thing without having to do all that stuff, right? We're jumping in the trade. We're making enough profits up to T1. You're still in the trade. You don't have to get out. You don't have to go buy more options. You're already in the trade. You've already been profitable. And at the end of the day, it's just a lot easier to control that way, okay? Although I want to educate, just as a disclaimer here, I am not a teacher, and it's not my duty to educate you right now. What I would ask is that you just kind of learn from me and watch how I trade. And if you have questions, I'll be happy to help. But if you want specific questions on candle patterns, it's not my place to tell you that because I am a student and was a student of Online Trading Academy. Okay, and so I don't think it's fair. What I will tell you though is that you can actually go out to YouTube, and the CEO is Sam Seiden. He has a great video out there, and actually he describes exactly what I'm telling you right now. And it's actually probably a great intro into my trading. But remember, I'm taking all kinds of cool different things and applying them to their core use of buy and sell zones. All right, something that no one else is using, something that I'm developing, something that's working for us, and I hope that it's able to work for you as well. On our options chain, I think it's really important. So I'm going to pull up if you use Thinkorswim. I'm not aware of any other platforms, but I want to show you how I trade. Let's say we have Google here. I'm going to pull up my the trade. We're going to go to Google here and let's look at 5 March. Let's get down here to current price. All right, so it's in here. Let's just say that I want to buy this, all right? And I know where my buy zone is. So I'm just going to hypothetically, I know it's not going to go for 1130, right? The buy zone's below us. So I'm just going to throw something on here and say, you know what? I don't want to buy it for 1100. I'm going to buy it for 900. Okay. I'm going to confirm it's in, just like that. I'm going to close this. Sorry. Come back up here. Let's go back to the charts. You're going to see that the $900 puts me almost at my entry, right? Let's go back. So this is a little bit above there. And just like I was telling you targets above, we want to get targets below where we want to enter. Well, do you want to be the guy that's just sitting here at 1154.07, or would you like to bring your buy up just a tad bit more? Now this buy puts us right above there. Okay. So I'm going to be sitting here waiting for price to come down to fill this buy zone, and I'm going to enter at 9, and then I'm going to ride this baby up until a sell zone. And I'll know what that candle pattern is once it develops, but this is where I take my scalp position, if you want to call it a scalp, or this is where I take my long position to get me up into the 1177 area. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Now let's say that this zone here is actually deep to 1150. Okay, then I come back over here to trade. I'm going to buy another one. Let's go. We know that right at that line is 900. Let's try 750. Confirm and send. Okay. Go back to our charts. And you can see I'm just above that. And that's a little too high for me. So I'm going to bring that down. So I'm going to go back to trade. Cancel and replace order. It's the one at 750. Let's just try 600. Okay. Let's go back to our charts. Now it puts me to below. All right. So I'm going to go back again, or I can just right click here, cancel replace order. Let's try 675. All right, so it pretty much puts us there. And I think that I've shown you enough demos to kind of give you the idea. So this is how I trade. All right, so if price wants to come down into our buy zone, which, 8 times out of 10 they do, this is where I want to enter the trade. All right, so again, do you want to be E1, you could be E2, or you could be E3 down here. All right, and anyways, that's that. Now say I wanted to sell those. Well, if I give you T1 up here at 1177, then you know that you're going to do the same thing. Go back into your dome. So let me show you what the dome looks like. Let's just pick BABA here. Give me just a second, just looking at some of my different charts. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to detach this screen. Okay, and then I'm going to pull it over to my right screen. And then I'm going to, you see here I have the current account. Well, it's red. So that screen that I just detached, we're going to make it red. And if you guys don't understand that, so we're going to do this, make that red. Okay, now it's going to show me my BABA position. So it looks like this. I'm going to open the active trader, and you're going to see here, if I wanted to sell BABA at 590, we sell it right there. Okay. Let's go to BABA just so I can show you this. Okay. And on the screen here, you're going to say in order for BABA to be sold at that price right now, I mean it's Sunday, it needs to get to $200 and some change. Okay. So you can kind of figure out where you want to be. So I'm going to come back over here. Let's just pretend I want to shoot for T2 here at 195. So I'm going to bring this down till it makes sense. So there's T1. And all I'm doing, just so you can see here, let me see if I can, so we know that's too low. So we're going to do this. Let's go to 350, 325, see what it looks like here. Okay, still not there. So I'm going to bring it up here to, let's say 445. And you can see I overshot it. So this is how I trade. All right, gives you an idea what I'm looking for. And right there, it's perfect. So we know that we can sell this position at $380 at T2. All right, now gamma, delta can always change. If you guys don't know your Greeks, just look it up on YouTube and kind of understand. To me, it all makes perfect sense on how these things work, but going up here into this position here, all I can tell you is that this is what Thinkorswim is calculating, and typically it's right on the money. So again, I could sell my position at T2 for $380, and in this case, it gives you about I don't know, roughly 100 and some percent off these BABA calls. Okay, so there's that. I hope that kind of explains how to set those up and where to sell them. It works perfect. Some other things here. Yeah, setting up, if you're on Thinkorswim, guys, make sure that your watch list here is set to current account. This is by far the easiest way to trade your options account. And if you're holding any shares and you're just day trading, makes a lot of sense to do this, okay? All you have to do is, like I showed you, detach a screen here, put it somewhere else, make sure that they are the same color code here, and then you're just going to click on this and it's going to bring up your options over there, and then you can mess around on your charts, and if you have like the same targets I do, then you know exactly where you want to sell. All right, so I hope that really makes sense. Watch list, you know, how I scan, those kind of things. So I have a couple screens in front of me. I don't feel like I need too many. And then I have a screen behind me that I have about 6 to 8 charts on. And those are behind me, and I'm just kind of scanning those and not looking for anything in particular. Again, I only trade price, so buy and sell zones. And one thing I will say, though, to go back on what I said, news is important in a fashion, right? So if we're headed up to T2 and we're almost there, right? Say that we're in between these two, but we know that President Trump is going to come on live and talk something that's very important, like tariffs, right? Um, for me, if we're almost there, why not just go ahead and jump out of the trade, right? So, I mean, that's something you have to decide. Or you said, nope, it's coming to my T2, I know it, and I'm going to sell there. That's up to you at that point. All right, so news is important before you jump into a stock. So if you're jumping in BABA and Jack Ma has like the most important message in the world to give to everyone, and you know that it happens to be right when your price is almost there, I think that I would probably, just me, get out of the position. All right, so before you make a trade, don't care too much about that there's news per se, but just know if your stock is going to be affected before you jump into the trade, if that makes any sense. Anyways, I hope that kind of clears up some of what I trade. Remember, I'm a big Fibonacci guy as well. A lot of things you're going to see me using. A lot of things might not make sense to you. You're more than welcome to come over here to the main chat and just ask questions. Once again, I'm going to go over this real fast just to close this video out real quick on what you should be looking for. And so when you're in Discord, we're going to have our main chat here. And what a lot of people are doing is in the mornings, they're coming over here to question and answers, and they just kind of place themselves in here. So this is so that you can hear me talk live while I'm trading. Okay. You can also talk amongst each other, guys, if you want to. You can kind of like, you can click on anybody, right click them, say like Momo here, and you can call them and talk directly to them. Okay. You can send them a DM, right? A direct message. Just go right here and it will go straight over to Momo, just like that. And looking at this, this is strange. So I want to make sure, let's see here, that this person actually, I'll go back to it here in a second. But anyways, you can direct message them here. And then we go back to Trendy Options, and then you'll see these come back up here. So this is where you're going to talk. So you can be in here and listening to me, and at the same time in here chatting. So you can be asking me questions, and then I'll just talk to you live so you can listen. Or if you want me to text it, just say, hey, John, can you text that or something, right? It's up to you. I prefer just to talk and make it quick so that we're live. Trade alerts in here. Again, these are going to be very simple. I am looking at a template to make sure that it's very easy to read because even going back and looking at some of this stuff, guys, I'm like, what was I saying right there? So I just want to make sure I'm very clear, but also clear that as a disclaimer, this is for entertainment only until it's not. So when I become an LLC and I'm actually being paid for this, this is just for fun. All right, I'm not telling anyone to take my trades. ES Blueprint, you come into this room to see the layout going into ES. And remember, I use ES to trade SPX options. It's been very profitable. If you're new to the room, I encourage you to ask anybody that's been trading with me for quite a while how profitable that can be. Going into stock analysis, this is where I'm going to come in here and kind of and this falls outside of earnings. So this is not earnings. If they happen to have earnings coming up, great. But this is just things that are coming to me that I want to kind of throw out your way instead of just being on Twitter and showing you a chart, which I think is absolutely okay, but it's not very informative, right? You can't get any thoughts or any ideas behind it. It's really easy just to throw a chart up and misunderstand what people are trying to say. So that's why I decided to start doing videos so that people can hear me. They understand what kind of exuberance is behind my voice and when I'm worried about a position or whatever it may be. All right, so I encourage you to come over here and just check that out. Live screen share every morning. It's unlisted. That way, not anyone can watch my videos. It's just for you guys, and I appreciate you again and being able to share that with you. I will put the new URL in here every morning. So just click on the live screen share. Typically I'll be live by probably about 15 minutes before the market opens. Okay, so just remember that. Just come in here and you can look at the day and be like, okay, he's updated. So then you're going to click on this, and this is going to take you to YouTube to my live channel. And what people are doing is they're muting the live channel and they're listening while you're in the question and answers room. Okay, so you listen here, you watch on the screen here, and at the same time you can chat. So you don't have to be in all these. All right, all you have to do is be here, and then you have the main chat running. Okay. Earnings, something I'm going to do probably anywhere on Sundays or Saturdays, whatever time that Ashley allows me to work. I'll be giving you videos of upcoming earnings. And as a disclaimer, earnings can always go sideways, guys. It is risky, but I'm going to give you targets to the upside and downside. And you're going to play those targets, right? You're going to wait for targets to get there or whatever. However you want to play it, I'm just trying to bring something enlightening to you and give you a different perspective on trading. All right. And then again, question and answers down here. You can come in here. I'm thinking about maybe creating another room um, that perhaps might have like intros to Discord or how I trade, kind of what I'm doing right now. And that way you guys can ask questions in there. Hey, John, well, how do you do your stop loss management? How do you get those targets? Why? So again, I'm not going to go into great detail on how to line up candle patterns. Okay, that's not why I created the room. Um, yeah, so I think that pretty much sums it up. If you guys want anything else, please use wherever I decide to put this video. I'll update everybody, but at the same time, if you want to hear something else, if you want something else, please ask in that room, and I'll be happy to do a short video. And I apologize for running this one so long, but I hope it kind of helps you uh, in the room and understanding kind of what to look for when I am trading.